Hey folks, welcome back to our Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at a couple new expansions for Board Royale: The Island. Board Royale is brought to you by Arvis Games Inc. It's for 2 to 6 players, ages 13 and up, and games range anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes. So, the original Board Royale is a turn-based survival card game. To survive, you will have to be sneaky and a ruthless backstabber. The goal of the game is to survive by any means necessary. If a player runs out of resources, they are instantly eliminated from the game. The last man standing on the island or the first to escape by collecting 10 escape points wins the game. This is not an easy task. Each round is 1 day on the island, during which you must gather resources and spin them to craft items with various abilities in order to attack your opponents and ensure your survival. And now for this new campaign, they've added updates to the base game, new items which increase the game's item count from 80 to 100, new weapons, fun disguise items, and a more balanced Board Royale experience for all. However, today we're taking a look at 2 new expansions, the Wild Hunt and Missions and Traits. But do take a closer look at the Kickstarter, as there are several new and old expansions to consider. And of course, you can't have a survival game without throwing zombies into the mix somewhere. So, the Wild Hunt expansion brings collaborative gameplay to Board Royale. Players cannot attack each other, and you wouldn't want to in this one. There isn't player elimination by players, and all players try to survive against the creatures on the island. Now, setup here and play of Board Royale with the Wild is very similar. You're going to be gathering resources, using those resources to craft items and attack the monsters that are going to be coming out. So the Wild, you're going to be taking that deck and shuffling it up and placing it at the bottom of the main board. Now, at the start of your turn, you're always going to be drawing a card from the Wild. Now, there's 3 possible different types of cards you can get. The first one, which is super cool, is Companions, giving you special passive abilities. But you can ever only have 1 companion at a time. So throughout the game, as you're drawing these cards, you might have to make some tough choices on which one to keep. Now, the mainstay in this deck is monsters, your basic creatures that are coming out of the jungle. All kinds of different types here. Now, the thing to be mindful of is their health. You're trying to destroy them before they can actually attack you. Now, the way it works, with some exceptions, is that these creatures or monsters are going to come out of the forest and land at the active player, just in front of them. You can have as many of these in front of you, it doesn't matter. You could have all of them, it's crazy. So the thing though, is that they have some special abilities to be mindful of, and their attack value is the big thing. So on your next turn is when they'll initiate their first attack on you, unless you get something like the Night Saber, who attacks immediately. It's not good, trust me. But these monsters are gonna do all kinds of different things, and you do have to work together. Now, you can attack anybody's creature around the table. It doesn't matter where they are and so forth. But you're gonna be actively trying to reduce these, because the next type of card we're gonna take a look at is the boss level creatures. Now, these guys are going to be particularly bad with high hit point values. So as an example, let's take a look at the Widow Thornclaw. This giant snake, if it attacks you, is going to grapple and hold you, wrap around the current active player and hold them, so basically they're gonna have to skip their turn until this monster dies. All kinds of different abilities and aspects of the different bosses, and high health. So this one has a 14, but some have 18 and higher, and they do give you some handy trackers to keep an eye on the health as you reduce it throughout the game. Now, every one of these boss level creatures has a reward, and that will attach to the player that actively kills it. So they do various things here, but they are valuable to keep throughout the game. Now, how do you win? Well, based on the player count, will determine how many boss level creatures you need to destroy in order to win. Now, you have to actively work together. These creatures are going to be doing all kinds of different things, like the boss level ones, especially the T-Rex, benefit from other monsters at the table, can restore its health by eating them. So you really have to keep an eye on what you're doing. But that's how the Wild Hunt works. It is cooperative, adding a new aspect to this survival game, not just to take that anymore. So let's also take a quick look at this Missions and Traits expansion. This one brings a more peaceful, competitive gameplay to Board Royale, so to say. You know, eliminated players do not actually leave the game. Well, you are still eliminated when you run out of resources, but it's only temporary, and you will get back into the game on the next round. And the two new cards in this one, as you'd expect, are missions or traits. So missions are really the heart of what you're trying to do. These will be secret, and you're trying to fulfill the goal that it calls for. In this example, we have Not So Scrooge. You're gonna spend 10 resources on a turn to do various things, and you'll get a reward. Also, the more important part in the top right corner is the victory points. And the first player to get 10 victory points is going to win this game. So the other card is traits, and traits are not dissimilar completely to the different companions in the wild, but traits are going to do good and bad things for you, and you'll have 2 in play at any one time, and then you can swap them out as new ones come in. But the traits are really interesting. Some are going to benefit you greatly, some are going to benefit others greatly. So it's a really interesting aspect and new dynamic to the game for sure. So both expansions are really meant to give you a more friendly way to play this game. You've got both the competitive and cooperative aspects here. Now, you're still going to be doing the basic things that you were doing in the original game. You're gathering resources, you're spending those resources to craft items, weapons in particular, trying to arm yourself and prepare to go against your fellow players or protect everyone from the creatures emerging from the jungle. Now, the thing is that you always are going to have to make that trade-off. The really interesting aspect here is that you have to spend cards to craft, but you also have to spend cards to activate weapons and things, but you also have to manage that based on your health. Yes, resources here are your health as well, so you can't just spend them all. And the thing about the cooperative aspect, as you'd expect, is that you lose if any one player dies, so you really do have to work together in that one. All right, folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a Dice Tower paid preview, and these 2 expansions are in prototype form, so keep a close eye on the campaign for any changes that still may occur. Now, there's lots of expansions for this game to consider and lots of different ways to play. In fact, they even encourage folks to house rule things, just have fun with this game. It does play really fast, and I'm intrigued to check out the zombie version as well. That looks really fun. But of these 2, the Wild really appeals to me and my family. We have a lot of cooperative games, and this one really worked well, and I love the fast-paced gameplay here. Traits and missions are definitely interesting as well, but both of these just are a more friendly way to play Board Royale. But folks, ultimately, if this looks like something that would be of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it for me, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.